Yeah.
Oh, now. All right.
Okay.
All right.
Greetings, Mr. Joel Hodroff, and ladies and gentlemen, the listeners of our new podcast. Yes, not a new podcast, but a lovely, friendly conversation. And what brought us together is an event which is called Eco Civilization, a Connectathon that we are gonna host and talk and share of things from our hearts and of our passion. So yes, I'm looking forward a lot of exciting things ahead of us for a better world. I read your article almost. I watched the two videos you've shared with me, Joel. And okay, about me in a nutshell. So in my profession, I'm an ecologist, marine biologist. Like I worked in science for about 10 years. Then I kind of concluded that I'm not a specialist. I wanna I wanna be free, so free, like the flower and the bee, like an eagle in the sky. Yeah, so I started writing books and inventing toys and games, and which brought me first to Nuremberg in Germany, then to Hong Kong, and in between to Shanghai. And surprisingly, my ideas became reality. My ideas became reality. You cannot imagine things that I did in the basement that everybody were laughing at me. So this is a sign for all of humanity to 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 really believe in that whatever we imagine can be realized. And everything that we have here around us, like talk about money, monetary systems, talk about anything. This is all part of human imagination, our collective imagination. So I'll ask you a question, Joel. How important it is to you that people around you, your community, the companies you are part of, etc., will be engaged in social environmental activities, what's called CSR?
Well, you may be surprised, but other than including my family in that ecosystem, nothing is more important. I grew up believing that to be sane in an insane world is to be insane. So my life journey is to create a world that works for everyone, not just a few.
Beautiful, beautiful. So what if I told you that I have a system that can encourage and incentivize communities to to share of the abundance that they already have, without any dependency of what's coming in and what's going out, like beautiful, beautiful system. Will you be willing to test it in your community?
Well, willing, excited to. I hope that it has some new economics, because it's not just about changing human attitudes or human relationships. We're drowning in the very wealth that the system doesn't know how to distribute. So I'm eager to learn more about your model.
Beautiful. So the answer is yes. Okay, so let's dive into it. As a marine biologist, in my past, I used to dive, and so so now everyone says change is hard, right? So how to change? How to change? When people even cannot quit smoking, the diet they've always been working on never been realized, or like people are not achieving the goals. So how to change? That's the biggest question of all. Let me ask you, like, more specifically. For example, can you read 50 books per year?
Honestly, you already brought up one of my life challenges, is I'm so severely ADD that I've almost stopped reading completely. Would I like to read 50 books a year? You bet. Did I used to read 50 books a year? I sure did.
Okay, so the thing is like this. Let me walk you into a thinking strategy to allow you and to have a better understanding that you actually can. Okay,
Okay.
and this is how it works. Let me ask you like this. Can you volunteer 4 times per month? Can you invest an hour per week avoiding any noise? Can you invest an hour per day playing with your family? So the thing is like this. What if I ask you, could you read a book a week? Okay, a book a week, 4 books a month. How many it is per year? Let's say 50. 50 years, 2,500 books. So you
Right.
see, in a year, if you read a book, if you commit to read a book per week, you know, and this is the thing. This is like, you know, there are many things that they are deep down in our subconscious, you know, like we never think of. We never planned our life in person and also as a society. We never planned, you know, if we come up with Agenda 2030, this is beautiful, but this is now 8 years ahead of us. But what if we said, okay, let's plan for the coming year. Okay, we want to reach, let's say, as humanity. Okay, we want by 2050 to have read 50 books. So let's leverage it, you know, down to the level of the week. And now we have a better understanding how we can achieve it. So this is what, so the idea here that we all wish to change, and it's really difficult to change alone. What we really need to change is our culture, the way we manage and run our societies. And how can we do so? So here is a platform I came up with. It's called Team Global. And here is the idea that we group up in WhatsApp groups. And therefore, the positive group feedback. I'll give you an example. In one of the groups, one of the children, he wrote there to all in front, you know, this is WhatsApp, in front of all of his classmates and his teacher, that he wants to lose weight and he's committing now to a challenge, a specific challenge that appeared, that he's going to avoid sweets and lose weight. This was magic. I don't know the teacher, the class, anything. It's just one of those random classes that are taking the challenges. And the teacher was the first to say, we are right behind you, all of the class, and you could see all the boys, all the girls, like were commenting on his call now for the challenge. And this is just one of the examples, you know. So far, I've ran, I could say, hundreds of challenge groups, whereas how it works, it's like each day you receive an informative part about the SDGs, the Sustainable Development Goals by order. So day one, no poverty. And beside the informative part, let's say that by 2030, we commit to end poverty. So I'm giving you 3 different tasks according to levels of commitment. Learn, reflect, and act. Learn could be like watching a TED Talk. Reflect is like something you do on your personal diary. And act, it's like social activism, alone or with your classmates. So this is what the platform. So far I can say hundreds of thousands people have experienced. The mechanism works also in a model of play it forward. So many groups that I don't even know have opened up, maybe even in Minnesota, who knows. And this is how it works. Part of my personal story, how it started, before I even developed the automation bot system, and that I will show you soon, was that in my first group I opened up was September 2020 during the Corona. I got, when the challenge ended, I received like tens of thank you messages from the class participant. But one of them, she said, you saved my life. Like the word saved, it was really meaningful here because I could relate I could really understand what she meant. I mean, the anxiety and depression levels rose multiplied 5 to 8 times since the outbreak of the Corona. Multiplied, okay, per 5 to 8 folds. That's it's not 5%, 8%, it's folds. This is huge, and I'm talking about America. I'm talking about Minnesota. This is huge, you know, and so this is the developed world, not even to mention the developing world. So we know that the stories, the world is made of stories. You know, nationalities, money, cultures, traditions, religions, and so on. And the stories will tell ourselves, will shape mankind's destiny. The stories that we tell ourselves, they inform our belief systems. They shape our mindset, the values we choose to believe. I'll show you this in how we can actually reframe the story and what helps us, especially now, to reframe the story. And if you look at this graph, you see that stories, okay, inform beliefs, like also influence our mindset, and eventually our habits. Eventually our habits, how we act, okay? But why this is like an ever-growing spiral? Because, you know, if we having a divisive mindset of where we wish to protect ourselves, right? And therefore are ready to go to war, then we never reach these ever-ending spiral. What allows us to reach, it's here, you could see on the side, it's technology. Technology has allowed us to expand our consciousness, okay? And from a single computer to a network of computers, from an age of information to an age of knowledge to an age of wisdom. Wisdom, this is morality and creativity, and really allowing our imagination fly freely. Here you could see actually how the change and how the model for Challenge 18 works. Through an incentive system, we take people through a journey from all they wish, you know, all they've been conditioned during their lifetimes. You know why the Israelites were 40 years in the desert? That's
because they worshiped a golden calf.
Because it takes 3 generations to develop a new mindset. This is something cultural that is embodied in our DNA. 3 generations to come up with a new culture. It takes 3 generations. So the generation of the desert was a desert of slaves. Slaves meaning that they need to free themselves from all the negative emotions, like, you know, from hating the Egyptians, mad at God and maybe Moses and at themselves, and who knows at what. All the negative emotions. So real freedom is really to freeing yourself from all the negative emotions. And here in that context, the cultural context, it's really in our DNA. This is something that is amazing to understand, that culture is not just you know, you say like monkey see, monkey do. It's really embodied in our DNA. So, you know, if we look into this mindset map I came up with, so I can show you, you know, in a very simple way, how we can reach out to become these vessels of light and love, you know. I mean, this is a very spiritual language, but let me start, you know, scientifically or just in a normal language. You know, as we are born, you know, such a newborn baby, all we wish and desire is just to receive. If you see 2 babies sitting next to each other, one of them is holding a toy, the other one will fight with him to have the same toy. This is our mindset as we are born. You know, we want to receive is to receive. Yes, I'm not talking now about those people that all they wish is just to take. Okay, it's different than receiving. Okay, in a capitalistic worldview, this is how it works, you know. We are here to make money, and all we think is like, you know, receive, receive, receive. Of course, we practice mitzvahs and donation and being a good civilian and citizen and a human being, and also to practice giving back to society, you know, maybe without the back, just giving to society. But what I'm showing here that, you know, life is not zero sum. And I know you speak the same language. Life, it's really about collaboration and cooperation and even cooperative competition. It's really of allowing us to share of the abundance that is already here. It's just like, I would say, for us to bring it to the collective imagination or collective wisdom. It's really just awakening people because it's there. It's here. It's in our subconscious, and everyone's. If you ask everyone, if what would they dream of, and if they believe that, you know, we can actually, it's not if we can, if we want, if they would have liked to live in an abundant society, everyone would tell you yes. Okay, if people believe or not, that's our new story to tell. This is our responsibility to share these stories, okay, that can and will become reality. So what works in challenging team? This is how it works. You have like an incentive. You have an incentive system. This is a player card demo. So players, they choose different roles. They could become group leaders. They can become thinkers. They can become different roles, just like in football. That's the game, how it goes. And when I'm giving you a task, for example, you write about, say, day one, no poverty, and now I turn this upside down. Maybe you come up with a list of 18 things you have in life, okay? Because now I wanna give you this mindset of abundance. Think about things you have. Like I have a smile, I have shoes, I have, you know, I have a t-shirt, I have whatever, you know. Now you are in this I have mindset. This task I will connect to expression, because now you are writing about things that you have. Okay, this is not courage knowledge, but I have also this as the one designing the challenge with the hundreds of options around us, and this is open for everyone also to use and come up with their own ideas and specify any challenge to any community and group of people. So here you see an example. Here is another example of a player. So you see it differs, and we can hear what I'm showing you, that according to your level of commitment, you could actually measure. You could measure the change. You could measure your journey. You told me to share about my personal journey. Here you could share, you could actually measure and see what is it that it's easier for you to commit to. What is it, where, you know, in other words, you could say, where's your ikigai? What's your best at? What you love doing best? What you could actually make a living from and does good to the world. So going back here, you see when I'm offering you now for committing to a task, say writing 18 things you have in your life, you mark an emoji and you receive points. So here you want to receive, okay, you want to receive. So this is why you are doing the challenge. But then in the marketplace, you can redeem this with different awards and rewards to your liking, be physical, spiritual, or mental, okay, to fit your mindset and your community. And likewise, what happens, I'm building inside of you and your family and your community, the mindset, not just now I want to receive as to give. Now you learn that you want to give. You want to give as to receive, because you already understand when you now practice this game and you learn to give, okay, you understand that by giving you're receiving. You already understand that, and you want to be there. You want to be in this mindset of giving as you already received by giving. And this is how it works on the very basic scale. Now, let's say we are talking now on a social level that you could redeem these scores as a group, as a class, and now you're going to have an AI little Professor Einstein robot, you know, in your class, in terms of the points that the 10 coins that you have gathered. Or let's say if you are a different community, maybe some solar panels or irrigation system for your community, in terms of the collective commitment of your community, you know, for the challenge. Okay, so, you know, we all know Greta Thunberg. In 2018, she came up with an amazing TED talk that changed the world. She said, but the one thing we need more than hope is action. Once we start to act, hope is everywhere. And Challenge 18 is all about action.
What is her name?
Greta Thunberg.
Oh, Greta, sure.
Greta Thunberg. Here, this is actually it's a thinking methodology I developed, and this is the workshop. This is actually the exercise from the workshop I'm going to give during the Connectathon. People will be divided into rooms. They will have like 3 minutes to fill out these thingy notes alone, and then in groups, and then share. When we get back to the main hall, the different teams will share their visions for ventures that they wish to see in the future. What's unique to this methodology is that you actually choose 3 topics of your interest, divide each one of them, break down into 3 associations. So now you have like a mind map of 12 different associations. You connect those to create a new venture. What's beautiful, it's also like our consciousness thinks in symbols. Okay, so it's also symbols and embedded. I mean, I run the same exercise without even writing. You just draw. So your consciousness now works with symbols. So okay, so just like every company has its logo, right? So here it's also like activating this part of your brain. That's more or less the workshop I'm gonna run. And I'm going to end it with a personal declaration. I have a dream. I have a dream of seeing millions of people participate in Challenge 18 and commit to change their habits. I have a dream of changing the learning culture and value system in education to solve global problems. And I have a dream of developing a new conscious fit for a more technologically advanced, just, and peaceful human society. So yeah, that was my talk. And as I mentioned, I'm gonna, the platform is free for anyone who is willing to do good in the world, to use it with their own content, not necessarily mine. I have different contents like in my groups, which is like the SDGs, sustainability and leadership, songs and values, climate action, the hero's journey, and many more. I've actually written down lesson plans and you could say like courses to fit any age. I am at the family level and the community level, and also most of my activities in refugee camps in Africa. So it's completely free of charge so far for the last 2 years. And this is how it works. And yes, what else? And after I saw you already joined. After the workshop I'm going to give on the 23rd, I'm going to start a new challenge group that the participants are more than invited to join. So that was my introduction. And now it's a Q&A session.
Okay, I'll go back to my original question. Where did you grow up? What was your family doing that influenced you to go on such a journey as this? Well,
I grew up in Tel Aviv, north Tel Aviv. You know, it's like in the suburbs, so it's like potato fields and the Yukon River. So yeah, and so it's not a typical Tel Avivian. And yes, and what else? This is where I grew up. I told you that I was a marine biologist, ecologist. So this also led me to want to explore the world. So
But
after
still, even before that, what
oh
were your
oh
parents doing? What kind of work,
oh
what kind of family did you grow up in?
well, I grew up in a very warm, welcoming family. The door was always open after school. My mom cooked for everyone, and like my father is like super positive. I believe I'm like after my father in my character. Like outgoing, fun, people's person, and
What was his work?
he used to have a factory for windows.
So he was an entrepreneur and a businessman, you're saying?
You could say so, yeah. Like, I mean, it was a family business. He got it from his father. My family came from Iraq. Okay,
Okay,
my parents are the youngest, so they are the only one in the families to be born in Israel. But all of their brothers and sisters, they grew up. They were born in Iraq. Yeah, so my father, he worked, he and his elder brother, they took on the business of the father. And yes, me during the holidays, in school, I went and worked with my father for years. And yeah, and this is part of my childhood memories. Yeah, working with my father in the holidays. Yeah.
okay. And why do you think you went on to marine biology? There's a lot of desert in Israel, not a lot of ocean.
Yeah, it's I don't know what is it in us. I was always attracted to the sea, but more than this, biology as a whole, nature and wildlife. So
Right,
also, when I was young, this is also something my father has built in me. Always, he was excited to watch these nature films, in the African savannah and so on. So this is how I grew in me the passion for nature. Yeah.
right. And when did it start to look to you like it requires to build a global movement rather than just do your own nice job? What was the influence that took you to activism?
I
Or, uh, today, the leading edge, as you've noticed, is socially responsible or conscious business. But I'll argue when it's my turn that all of that is still taking place in an old money chasing paradigm, not a paradigm that knows the difference between money and wealth and puts the emphasis on producing and distributing wealth. But somehow you saw that not only was nature or biology a critical pillar of understanding the world and creating something new, but you somehow also saw that business was an engine or a driver, of the needed change. So where did that come from in your journey?
I'll tell you. When I was scientist, I think I wanted as a scientist to have an impact, to have, this is part of a man's seeks for meaning, my personal journey seeking for meaning. And I thought, okay, like, what is it that I could come up with? Maybe it was my parents' dream, that the son will invent a cure to all men diseases. But then, I I didn't see myself coming up with a cure. As a scientist, now as a professional scientist, I saw that it's not that simple to come up with any novelty in science. Like when I was a biologist, I came up with, I developed some growth systems for algae. Then for a year, I tried to find up investors. And I saw that in the biology field, it's not that simple. It's too risky. Then even when I developed biocontrol for ticks and mites against the Lyme disease in Africa, also
Okay.
there I saw that it's not that simple. Maybe it's all a matter of maturity of the market and the investors, you know, the investment community and so on. This was like 20 years back. So
Right.
if I came today to any investor with these ventures, I believe that it would have been much easier to get the investment. But then I realized, okay, that as it's tough, really, with all the beautiful ideas for marine agriculture or like ecological ventures. And it was back then it was too early, you know, to come up with innovative ideas in the field of biology and ecology. So I you could say, as a scientist and a very curious person, I told myself, okay, what if you will start writing books? Books can reach out to millions of people, right? And I started writing books, and ever since, this is how I see myself. I discovered a gift in me. What happened with writing books? Also back then, there were only 7 big publishers in Israel. So if they told you no, then okay, it's no. And for me, this was a big trauma. I said, okay, if they don't understand me in Israel, I'll go somewhere else. And this what made me also to think of, okay, not books, but toys and games. I'll invent the $1 million item, you know? So this also what started my journey going to Hong Kong, opening a company of an agency of toys and games and selling ideas and prototypes. And at the same time, I was always writing books, like tens of books. So, and this is what I'm doing now. But so to simplify the question, and before I go to the next part of the answer, so you see, it's really about always like making an impact. It was like maybe to satisfy my parents, you know, not finding a cure for humanity, but then it was a book. I guarantee you that there aren't any parents in the world that want their child to become a writer. A toy and game inventor, unless really you are coming up with the next big thing.
Yeah, monopoly.
Yeah. And this is about the toys and games. Now, when I moved to Hong Kong, I joined a nonprofit as the Israeli chapter and a director. And part of what I did is actually to lead a few delegations from Asia to Israel.
Okay.
And also to run events. So again, like now this for me was a beautiful match, because it was like the business community and the scientific community, bring them together, and also Israel and Asia. And this opened for me the first door to this world of nonprofits and organizations and the third sector. And then, I don't know if you remember, the Ice Bucket Challenge took over the world. $126 million were raised for ALS. There was Bill Gates, Mark Zuckerberg, everyone were throwing ice on the heads. And then I told myself, okay, all your life, you want to come to create an impact, to do something like that for the good of humanity.
Right.
I said, okay, impact, let's formalize this and come up with something innovative, just like the Ice Bucket Challenge, because I liked, so you see, as a biologist with my mindset to run experiments with plants and animals, you know, I said, okay, what if I could actually, you know, just take the same mentality and mindset and the thinking that I developed as a biologist and do beautiful things with humanity. So I said, okay, impact is like the formula is like .com, critical mass, organized cooperation, and momentum. If we can reach those, we can create an impact. So I went to PayPal in Hong Kong and I told them, let's make the next ice bucket in Asia, but we'll do it a bit different. And this is how the banana smile started.
This is what?
This is how the banana smile started.
How the banana smiles?
Yeah, the banana smiles. Now we have to reconnect to the Zoom because the 40 minutes are over. So we log out and log in.
The same link will let us.
Yes.
You know,